Hello and welcome to erpwebtutor.com. This is Deep, and in this video we will walk you through the introduction to Oracle Time and Labor, also known as OTL. So before we start even doing any Oracle Time and Labor configuration, it is important for any consultant working on the module to understand why Oracle Time and Labor is used, what are the advantages of using Oracle Time and Labor, and also what are the capabilities of this module. So we will start the discussion with why use OTL. So I have a few highlights of the OTL module that talks at a very high level that why OTL is a great solution for many enterprises. So the first thing is it provides immense flexibility by allowing employees to enter their own time. So in the past, imagine a company with thousands of employees and they're working, and how would the company or their HR track the time? So with the introduction of self-service, so again OTL is can be used as a self-service and also used as in the form of a timekeeper entering time for employees. But the primary advantage of using OTL is to allow the employees to enter their own time. And the second thing is we can create all different kinds of layouts of the time card or the timesheet which the employee is going to use, and depending on the requirement we can use actually multiple layouts for the same implementation. So it's very flexible. It is integrated with Oracle Human Resources, Payroll, Projects, and EAM or Enterprise Asset Management. So that also helps us to reduce a lot of data entry. So it easily talks with Oracle Human Resource, all the entries made in Core HR, all the projects that are defined in the projects, all kinds of elements that are defined in Payroll, and also the assets in Enterprise Asset Management. It has a highly configurable approval process. So you can configure the payroll approval process to suit your clients or enterprises' needs. It compresses cycle times. It's the same explanation that since it's self-service based and it has a lot of emails that it sends when an employee submits a time card or when the manager approves the time card. So it's all automated. So employee receives a notification saying that the time card has been approved, and when the employee submits, the manager receives a notification saying that a timesheet has been submitted. So that helps reduce the cycle times for the whole process. And for the same reason, it reduces a lot of operating costs, because you don't have to worry about paper time cards. I don't have to worry about swipes, like machines where the employee can swipe their card, but depending on the situation that you might have to use the swipe method. But if you use OTL and allow the employees to enter their time cards, it definitely reduces a lot of operating costs. Also, it lowers the staffing requirements for selected tasks. So if you had 1,000 employees and they were not entering their own time cards, you would have to hire a bunch of people doing or managing those times for all the employees in your organization. So by having a self-service, it lowers your staffing. So the process flow is managed by Oracle's very robust workflow engine, and the status of this processes can easily be monitored using your workflow monitor. So you can, at any point of time from the time a time card is created till it is approved, you can always track the status of the process using your workflow monitor. So it also integrates with mobile technologies. What I mean by that is when the employee submits the time card and the manager receives an email, and then the approval process or rejection process or reassigning, all those things can be done through even your cell phone or any smartphone. So it's very easy to integrate those approval process with your mobile phones. So this is a very simple OTL process. We're just trying to visualize what's happening in the whole cycle. Now, first step, the transaction is initiated by an employee. So you can see that the employee is going to submit the time card, and then the manager receives a notification. So this is the manager. So depending on what action the manager takes, it follows different path. So if it's approved, it's ready for transferring to projects, payroll, or EAM if you have integration with EAM. If it is request, the manager requests to change information. So for example, an employee actually took a day off on a certain day of the week, but in the time card by mistake has entered irregular hours or worked hours. So the manager can always send it back to the employee saying that please correct the time card, and then the employee makes the changes and resubmits. Again, the manager gets the notification, and then finally the manager approves or rejects or whatever. They can always request for more information. So if the manager approves or rejects or requests more information, so employee always gets notified, and then finally when it's approved after all the cycles, we are ready to move those time entries into either payroll or projects or both, or even enterprise asset management. So this is again a very high level diagram of the OTL process. Now this is a look and feel of a simple time card entry layout. So as you can see on the top, you have something like the period for which you are entering the time. So if it is a bi-weekly or if it is a weekly, depending on that, you will see the days that belong to that period appear on the right. So you can see in here on the right hand side, the bottom section, you are seeing all the days for the period that you're seeing on top, which is April 9th to April 15th. And then this is the layout with project and task. And so you can see that the project task, it has a list of values. So this again explains that how it very easily integrates with your existing configuration. So you don't have to define the project and task in OTL. It receives the information from projects, and the type is whether it's in regular or it's in overtime. So that's the type. So you can also have your work location, and once you enter the time, it gives you a total by the days. So that's the vertical column wise, it gives you the total for the days, and on the horizontal side it gives you the total for that project and task for the time period that you're entering the time for. You can also, so you can see the bottom part of it's called the template. So what that does is, if you are using the same project and task for every week, so what we can do is, instead of selecting the project and task every time you're making an entry, you can just save this as a template, and when you try to enter the time, you can just select the template, you can select the period and apply the template, and then it automatically pulls in the project and task that you have saved in the template. So let's move on, and then before we end this tutorial, let's see the different types of OTL configuration. So here we will explain how or what OTL or all these modules are expecting from OTL. So you can have any one, more, or all of these configurations. So you can have a payroll only implementation, you can have a payroll with projects only implementation, or you can have payroll and payroll with projects and enterprise asset management. So it's not just one, so it could be one or more of these configuration. So if it is payroll only, what happens is the time entries are passed to payroll only, and employees enter time against regular hours, overtime hours, holiday hours. So you can also do some costing overrides on the time cards. So that's how payroll is expecting the information. Payroll is only interested in whether it's regular hours, whether it's an overtime, holiday, so the type of the earning. So regular is a type of earning. Overtime is a type of earning. So payroll module is only interested in the type of earning. So if you're doing just payroll, then you will need those information. So now if you do a payroll with projects, now what happens then is the time card entries are passed to both payroll and projects, and employees enter the time against a particular work breakdown structure from projects. Now what I mean by the work breakdown structures is actually a project and task in the system. So you can choose, though depending on how you create your layout, you can say, this is the project, this is the task, these many regular hours, the same project, same task, and whatever number of overtime hours. So the information that goes into project task or the work breakdown, the project task or project accounting, what it goes, so project receives the number of hours the employee has worked for a particular project and task, and the regular and overtime information is passed to payroll because that's what payroll is interested in. So in order to have the project and task, you have to have Oracle Projects module implemented, so that you can actually do you can actually integrate OTL with the project accounting and project billing if you have that. So the next step or the next type of implementing OTL is you can do a service procurement. So what it deals with, it deals with the contracted timesheets, that is the timesheets for contractors, or also known as contingent workers in Oracle. So the time, the entry and the approval, so the time entry and the timesheet approval will then represent an electronic receipt against a purchase order. So I will give you an example. So let's say there are some consultants who are working for your company, and so the purchase order that you have against that consultant is, let's say, 200 hours of work. So when they submit a timesheet and say 40 hours a weekly timesheet, so once that 40-hour timesheet week for the week is approved, then those 40 hours can be reduced from the purchase order. So the 200-hour, the initial purchase order, and then now it will say that so 40 hours already entered and 160 hours remaining. So you can make the payments in your payables module accordingly. Now the last thing is the enterprise asset management. So that is used to track costs against an asset. So time is actually booked against a work order. So let's say you have a machine and then it has some problem, so that you create a work order for that, and then somebody comes in and fixes whatever the issue is, and then enters time against that work order, so that is tracked in your asset. So that is all for an introduction. So if you now try to implement Oracle Time and Labor, we have the configuration or the setup videos on our website at www.erpwebtutor.com. So that will give you an idea of how actually you can implement Oracle Time and Labor module. So do take a look, and please post your questions on our forums, And hopefully this was useful, and we will come up with more useful videos on Oracle E-Business Suite. Thanks for watching.